All 5'2" of me is absolutely terrifying. Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you are returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. Today we are going to be talking about some of the classic Jungle Cruise jokes that aren't actually part of the script. These are ones that you've probably heard. They're based on like pop culture things. They always get a laugh, but they're not technically part of the script. You're not supposed to use them. I'm kind of like working my way through the jungle, and hopefully editing Meaghan is able to get pictures up of the scenes so that you can kind of have some visual to go along with the jokes. And you're not just like having to listen to me talk about jokes that are kind of a visual thing without the visual. Let me just scoot right here so that we have this space. Editing Meaghan, put them here. So as we move from the Congo onto the Nile, it goes on for Niles and Niles and Niles, you come into the African veldt, and that is the area where you've got, it's basically the savannah kind of thing, where you've got all kinds of critters that are coming down to the water to drink every day. You've got giraffes, you've got lions, you've got zebras, and you have the great thing that killed Mufasa. They're wildebeests, also known as new. Another one that people will use. Sometimes you'd be like, I'm not sure what those guys are. They must be new. That's kind of a long stretch. And if you've got a slow boat, you have to come up with things to say. So a lot of people will use that one. I did not, except for one time, and I'll get to that story because my next joke I also used one time, and it was on the same cruise. Come into the veldt and, you know, all these animals, the great thing that killed Mufasa. I usually went with something more like, we've got antelope, we've got giraffes, and actually we have 4 of the oldest zebras in the world. You can see those guys are still in black and white. Was it 5 zebras? Oh my gosh, I can't remember how many zebras we had. How many? 5 zebras? And then we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh dear. And then you move along because the lions and that zebra were just, they were taking a nap together. So moving on, you come around Schweitzer Falls, past the crashed plane and into the Hippo Pool. Now, the Hippo Pool is another one that sometimes can take a little while because it's a big space, especially if you're not going to be one of the skippers who uses the gun. I didn't like to shoot the gun. It was loud. It scared kids. It's me. I'm not into the gun. I would usually just like shoot them with my hands, or like I'd growl at them or something, because you know I am, all 5'2" of me is absolutely terrifying. I would scare them away, no problem. One of the jokes some people use in the Hippo Pool that's kind of a pop culture thing is you'd be like, look at all these hippos. If anyone's wearing white, don't make any sounds like marbles because these are hungry, hungry hippos. Everyone's favorite game as a child. And once again, I used that joke one singular time. Same night that I used the great thing that killed Mufasa joke. When I got back to the dock, I realized that I had a manager on my boat. And sometimes, I mean, this was early in my Jungle Cruise career. Can you call 6 months a career? It was early in my skipping days, and I wasn't familiar with all of the area managers yet. But that's the thing that they like the parks too. They come and ride, but if they ride your boat and they find that you are doing things that are non-script, or you're deviating from the script too much, they will like talk to you. Luckily, I just used those 2 jokes, so they just kind of like mentioned it to my coordinator. They were like, hey, can you like remind her? So they were like, Megan, you had a manager on your boat. And I was like, oh. Just encourage you to stick to the script, because the point is for everyone to have a similar cruise experience, and you are not supposed to take the theming outside of the time frame in which the Jungle Cruise is set, which I believe they say you're not supposed to mention anything that is outside of 1935 to 1950. So that's like the time frame that you're supposed to be in when you're on the Jungle Cruise. So obviously Mufasa wasn't around in the 50s or the 30s, so you're not supposed to mention that. Hungry, hungry hippos. I don't know how long it's been around, but I don't think it's that long. It's been around for a minute though. Did it the one time at a bad time, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna risk it anymore. So then from then on, my cruise was pretty much OG, completely based on the script. But I did do those 2 jokes that one time. Continuing on to the jungle, the last one that I'm gonna mention is arguably everyone's favorite. It's the one that gets the most laughs. I never personally did it, but I had friends who did it. They were very successful. I mainly wasn't gonna do it because I can't sing. Like, I have the worst singing voice on the planet. It's awful, especially because the rest of my family can sing. It's kind of rude. A lot of people have mentioned that this is a joke that their skippers have done and they really enjoyed it. And it's funny. Like, inarguably, it is funny. As you come into that tunnel at the entrance of the temple, it gets real dark, you have to cut all the lights on the boat, and the skipper hangs up the mic, usually. But you may have some skippers who are particularly pizzazzy, and they will get their Gene Wilder on. And they start doing the "there's no earthly way." I'm not going to sing to you. I promise I'm not going to put you through that. But you know the scene from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory where he sings the creepy song in the tunnel, and like all the lights and the, you know, the boat's in the dark, and it was scary as a kid. Did anyone else like hate the original Willy Wonka the first time you saw it? It terrified me. I didn't want to turn into a blueberry. I did want to go into the river of chocolate. Not gonna lie, that didn't sound that bad. Tangent. That's also, if you haven't watched my Jungle Cruise fun facts and history trivia video, I'll link it down below if you want to see the whole thing. But one of the things about the Jungle Cruise that also relates to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is that's how the water gets dyed. The water's not that particular color brown. It's not clean, so like don't scoop up water and drink it. Saw that happen. Never again. But the waterfalls are churning up and mixing the water dye that they put in. So if you ever go, you know, early in the morning on a day that they have re-dyed the river, it's super concentrated and it's really dark in some spots where it hasn't dissipated yet. So just, you know, that's my tangent. Let me step back to my normal spot here. So you'll have people who do the Gene Wilder thing in the temple, and it always gets laughs. It's always funny, especially if the skipper can sing and they do a good job of doing that song. I just thought of one more while we're in the temple. I know I said that was the last one, but one more, forgive me. When you are coming out of the temple, you have the line of golden statues as you're heading out into the Indian elephant bathing pool. Some skippers will, just before the exit, they will mention the statues and they will say, "Hey, look, it's the Golden Girls." I absolutely loved the Golden Girls. Blanche was my favorite. I cried when Rue McClanahan died. Well, who was your favorite Golden Girl? That's a bizarre question. You probably weren't expecting that to be the question for the day, but answer that down below. So that is it. I plan to do 3, but we snuck 4 in there. And I'm sure that there are more, so if you're interested in hearing some of the other jokes that are... I'm so sorry. Artemis is playing in the corner, and hopefully I've been able to edit out most of her obnoxious noises, but she's a kitten, so apologies. Let me know what your favorite pop culture, like non-scripted jokes are that you've heard on the Jungle Cruise, and if I have more, I will do another video. Maybe I'll do a video of y'all's favorites. So let me know what yours are down below, and also tell me who your favorite Golden Girl is, because I feel like who you pick kind of says, does it say something about you? Maybe Blanche shouldn't say something, but she's Southern. That's why I liked her. Also, she was sassy. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.